Is your need to please others actually negatively impacting your own life? Hi, I'm Mary Morrissey. I'm the author of two best-selling books, No Less Than Greatness and Building Your Field of Dreams, which became a PBS special. A friend of mine, Dr. Harold Bloomfield, wrote a wonderful book called Making Peace with Your Parents. In that, he describes a kind of person that he calls a people pleaser. And he describes a people pleaser as someone who will go out of their way to make sure that everybody else is happy, often to the detriment of their own happiness and their own fulfillment. I'll share a story about a woman I know named Stacy. And Stacy and I began to work together when she was in her 40s. She came because she wanted more fulfillment and more satisfaction in her life, wanted to help her career grow, but deep down, Stacy had an ongoing, negatively impacting need to please others in her life that was driving her whole life. If someone else asked her to do something, Stacy didn't know how to say, no, that's not good for me, and feel okay about it. If she didn't please the other people, she couldn't feel good about herself. And the person that was most in the center point of that habit and that negative behavior for her was her mother. Stacy's mother had never approved of Stacy. Stacy's mother had actually been jealous of Stacy. Stacy's mother had always withheld her love and approval. And deep down, the little girl inside this adult woman still wanted her mommy's approval. So no matter what her mother asked for and how much time it was going to take and if Stacy was going to miss a vacation to go help her mother, and it would be okay with her mother, well, you'll just have to miss this vacation. And her mother would actually be like that with Stacy. So little by little, Stacy began to take a look at what was really happening in her life and the actual cost that that meant to her, and how all of her relationships were affected by her desire to please other people, including the man that she loved, who she'd been with for 20 years, but couldn't ever cross the line of being fully committed to him because she was so busy taking care of other people. So over time, we began to establish some new patterns. We began to establish some new ways of being and some new things that Stacy could say inside herself so that she could actually say no when she meant no, so she could actually say yes when she meant yes, so that she could actually be true to the people she cared about because she was being true to herself. So now back to you and your life. There's actually nothing wrong with wanting to please others. There's nothing wrong with wanting to help others. It is tremendously satisfying when you help someone else achieve something they want to achieve, or move something they want to move, or have something they want to have. The challenge comes when you find yourself consistently saying yes to someone else's requests at the expense of your own happiness, your own fulfillment, your own life. And when you do this, you're actually saying you don't value yourself. And you end up feeling a bit like a doormat. You don't want that for yourself, and I don't want that for you either. So here's a principle. It's an invisible principle in the way electricity is invisible, but when you learn how to harness it, you can light up your house, you can light up a building, you can light up a skyscraper. There is no private good in this universe. And that simply means this. If you're being false to someone else and saying, okay, I'd love to help you, when deep down you wouldn't love to help them in that moment, you've got something else planned. If you're not true to yourself, you can't be true to somebody else. You're giving them a false version of you. Being true to yourself is the only way to be true to anyone else. In fact, Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. Hence follows as the day the night, thou canst be false to any other man. Now what he's saying here is, hence follows as the day the night. Meaning not you, not I, not one of us is powerful enough to stop the day from following the night. There's a power that's greater than you or me that's going to bring the day after a night. To thine own self be true. Hence follows as the day the night. Meaning if I am being true to myself, there's an energy that goes forth from me. There's an authenticity that goes forth from me. There's an energy that actually others can feel that I'm in integrity. When I say yes, I mean yes. And when I say no, it's just not good for me, it's not good for me. And that means it can't be good for you if it's not good for me. Hence follows as the day the night. Thou canst be false to any other man. So if you think that deep down you have some people pleaser tendencies, know that being a people pleaser probably got trained into you from the time you were little. And here's the good news. If it got trained into you, it can get trained out of you. And you can actually replace that people pleaser person. Now remember, being a people pleaser person is different than being a person who cares, being a person who's compassionate, and being a person who wants to help. Being a people pleaser means you play small inside yourself. You don't really care about your own wants and desires. They're not important. Just what other people want is important. Let's get them happy. And you lose yourself in the process. But you can replace that people pleaser person with an honest, integrous, authentic person pattern. So here's 3 steps you can take to begin setting healthier choices for yourself. So you can begin making sure that you are also in the circle of good that you're wishing for others. Yes, you wish good for others. You also want to be inside that circle of good. So number 1, when someone asks you to do something for them, just take a moment. Don't give a knee-jerk reaction. If you have a long-standing people-pleaser pattern, the pattern is going to say yes, and you'll get that momentary happiness of, oh, I'm making them happy. But deep down, if it's not making you happy, you're out of integrity. There will be a cost to that. So somebody asks you to do something for them. Take a moment, take a breath. It's also okay to say, you know what, let me think about that and I'll get back to you in an hour. I'll get back to you tomorrow. When someone asks you to do something for them, take a moment. And then look at that yes. What would the yes to that be? Does it conflict with something else that's important to you? Does the idea of saying yes to that request feed you or deplete you? Does it conflict with your core values or something else that you have scheduled in? So you just check in and you make your interest equal to the person who's asking you to do something. That'll be new for you if you're a people pleaser, and it'll take stretching some muscles of, yes, you want to help others and you want to be inside that circle of good too. So number 1, take a breath and take a pause before you just give your answer. It's okay to say, I'll get back to you on that. Number 2, if the request does conflict with something that's important to you, it's not only okay to say no, it's essential to say no. But you can do that in a kind way. You can say, I would love to do that, and I've got other plans that are really important to me, and I've been there for a long time, so ask me again. Next time, I'd love to help you. But don't waver on that. Don't say, let me see if I can reschedule it, unless you really want to reschedule it. This will be new if you've been a people pleaser by habit for a very long time. It'll feel uncomfortable too, by the way. Just weather that uncomfortability long enough to begin to establish a connection to how good it feels to be authentic, how good it feels to be integrous, how much more love you can pour through your heart and your energy because you're being not only good to others, you're being good to yourself in the same way. So number 3, let go of the guilt. Now you can't just let go of something, you got to replace it with something else. Universe abhors a vacuum. So as you let go of the guilt, replace it with this thought. I actually would not want anyone else to say yes to me when they didn't really want to say yes. If you go down deep, I think that's going to be true for you. You don't want someone saying yes to you just because they want to please you. You want someone saying yes to you because it's good for them to say yes. They want to say yes. And guess what? Deep down, that person wants that for you too, probably. If it's someone who really cares about you, of course they want you to be happy. They want you to have a life you love living. So when you say no to someone, you can say to yourself, it's okay for me to say no, because deep down, I wouldn't want anyone else to say yes to me if they didn't really want to say yes. I can be the person now that I am supporting others to be. I can say yes when I mean yes. I can say no when I mean no. I can love and care about others, and I can love and care about myself. And guess what happens when you do that? Everything gets easier. You find yourself more at ease, you have more peace of mind, you have more creativity, and you begin to have this growing sense that life is really good right where you are. So to recap, the 3 steps to setting healthier choices for yourself are: delay your response and check in with how you really feel about performing on that request before you say yes or no. Number 2, say no or not now when doing that feels right to you. Let go of the guilt and replace it with, I wouldn't want anybody else to say yes to me if they didn't really want to. And so it's okay for me to say yes, it's okay for me to know, and it's okay for me to care, not only about others, but also about myself. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please share it, and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done that already. So here's a question for you. What question do you have about setting healthy choices for yourself, or healthy boundaries? What's an insight maybe that you gained from experiencing this video today or as a result of watching it? So go ahead and share your idea or your question or your insight here with me, because I'd love to hear from you. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.